United have had an official £29 million bid rejected by Bayern Munich for Dutch centre-back Matthijs de Ligt. Massive, massive breaking news that this just dropped in the last couple of minutes. I will be bringing you all of the details on this deal, but before we do that, please smash a like on today's video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. This is coming out from the very, very reliable German journalist Christian Falk, Tier 1 journalist for the Bundesliga. He reports mainly just on Bayern Munich news, to be honest, but he does also report for Sport Bild and for a couple of other German outlets. But he's a very reliable journalist for the Bundesliga, and he is reporting in the last couple of minutes that Manchester United have had a £29 million bid rejected by Bayern Munich. Apparently, Bayern Munich are demanding £42 million up front plus add-ons. It says the negotiations will now continue between the two clubs. So this is the first official bid that we've effectively put in. There's been talks going on for weeks. De Ligt has agreed personal terms. He wants to come to the club. He wants to reunite with Erik ten Hag. But effectively, they've still got to get the deal over the line with Bayern Munich. Bayern want to sell, but apparently they're only willing to sell for £42 million, which I think personally is quite a lot. I think that's quite a large amount of money. But I'd be interested to see what you will think. Should Manchester United put in a second bid? How much do you think De Ligt is actually worth? Being very blunt with you, I think 29 million is lowball. That is a real lowball offer there. And I'm not surprised it got rejected. But at least they've started the negotiations. And at least we know that Manchester United are seriously after De Ligt. Obviously, Branthwaite is out of the equation. His asking price is somewhere around £80 million, which is, let's be honest, a joke. So £29 million is about 35 million euros. Man United are currently around £13 million away from Bayern Munich's valuation of 42. I think they probably will end up meeting in the middle somewhere, maybe around 35 million. I think that will probably be the sweet spot. Bayern are continually putting out information to the press saying that it's either 42 million or nothing, take it or leave it. But in reality, we know that there's always negotiations to be had between two football clubs, right? Even if Bayern Munich say they want 42 million, I'm sure as the window progresses, that price will come down slightly. We know that Matthijs de Ligt is surplus to requirements at Bayern Munich. He's on massive wages. He was injured for most of last season. And it even got as bad as Eric Dyer was ahead of him in the team, which, let's be honest, for those of you who watch the Premier League regularly, Eric Dyer is a very, very average defender, right? And the other thing that makes this deal a little bit more spicy is the fact that Bayern Munich have already agreed a deal with Bayern Leverkusen for Jonathan Tah. They've already got their replacement, but apparently they need to sell a player in order to bring De Ligt. They need to effectively sell De Ligt in order to buy Jonathan Tah. So until they get De Ligt out of the door, they're not going to be able to sign Jonathan Tah. And although the deal is agreed between Bayern Leverkusen and Bayern Munich, at the moment they're sat on their hands. They're waiting. They're desperately trying to bring him in, but they need to free up some wages. They need to bring in some cash. So it'll be interesting to see where this deal ends up. Obviously, there's quite a big gap in valuation at the moment between Manchester United and Bayern Munich, but I think this deal will get done. We know that Erik ten Hag wants De Ligt. He spoke about him a couple of days ago after the game against Rangers, saying that obviously he tried to bring De Ligt to Manchester United 2 years ago. And he said that it's not just Erik ten Hag who wants De Ligt. Apparently, all of Ineos, Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada are all in agreement that he is a good target to bring in. And with obviously Branthwaite being priced at stupid money, if we could get De Ligt for £35 million, I think it would be a bargain. I've said this for ages. I even think £42 million is probably fair in the grand scheme of things. You know, like Bayern Munich aren't being reasonable with their asking price, but you have to give Ineos some respect for trying to negotiate a better price, because if they can get him for 35, it's much better to do that than it is to pay 42, isn't it? The thing you have to remember is, right, De Ligt's on holiday at the moment anyway. So those of you saying, oh, well, we should get our business done early, even if you sign De Ligt now, he's still on holiday for another week or two. So you would effectively be paying his wages for him to be on holiday. So there's no real benefit of signing him like today or tomorrow. And Manchester United may as well try and negotiate the price down, because if they get it down, that will be more money that we can then spend in other areas. But I'd be interested to see what other Manchester United fans think about this De Ligt deal. Like, how much do you actually think he's worth? Like, what's your magic number? I personally think if we could get him for 42 million, including add-ons, so 35 million up front plus 7 million in add-ons, I think that would be really, really good business. And I think that deal will end up being agreed. Obviously, the problem that we have is Bayern Munich invested big money in De Ligt, and whatever happens, they're going to lose. They're going to lose out here. We know that their fans started this petition saying that they wanted him to stay. Over 70,000 Bayern Munich fans signed an online petition pleading for their owners and their directors to not sell De Ligt this summer. So it's not like he's a reject. He just doesn't fit within Bayern Munich's plans at the moment. And for that reason, they want to move him on. It does surprise me a little bit for a player that was apparently the best Bayern Munich player for the first half of last season. He then got injured, and effectively he's out of the team now. And in some ways, I think I've just answered my question there. I think the problem with De Ligt is his injuries, and that will always be a concern for me, right? I think De Ligt's a quality player. I think for £35 million, it would be a bargain, but the price has to reflect the risk, if that makes sense, because there is a risk with De Ligt. Over the last 5 seasons, since he was 19, he's only 24. Over the past 5 years, he's missed 20 games or more every single season, De Ligt, which is a lot, isn't it? When you already think that we've got an injury-prone squad. Luke Shaw's injury-prone. Martinez, I don't know if he's injury-prone, but has been injured a lot. You go through the rest of the team. Casemiro, Varane was injury-prone. Martial. Like, we've had so many injury-prone players at this club over the last 10 years. And we are effectively signing someone willingly, knowing that they have a bad injury record in the past. And it's not a one-off. It's not once in his last 10 years. It's literally, if you look through his injuries over the last 5 years, one year he had like 30 games he missed through injury. The next was 20. The next was 20. Like, it's always around 20 to 30 games that he misses. But obviously Bayern Munich want to recoup as much money as possible. They paid 67 million euros for him 2 seasons ago when they got him from Juventus. They're currently asking for 50 million euros plus add-ons, which, as I said, I don't think is unreasonable. But if I'm Ineos and I'm negotiating with Bayern Munich, I would be asking them, why do you want to sell him? Why do you want to sell him and keep Eric Dyer? You know, you must have a reason for that. And their reason will be his injuries. So what I'm trying to say to you is the price that Manchester United end up paying needs to reflect the possibility that Matthijs de Ligt is injury prone. And it also has to reflect the fact that what happens if he's injured? What happens if he's injured for 20 games next season? What do we do then? You know, like, can we rely on him? That's the question that Ineos will be asking themselves. And I think if they can get the deal down, this deal will definitely be done. Obviously, we've heard that we need to sell to buy, but 29 million must be the sweet spot. 29 million must be what's available in the budget in order to buy him right now. And it's just whether Manchester United can stretch it up. So here's a full breakdown of what's happening. This is coming out from Christian Falk, as I said. So Manchester United offered 35 million euros, which is around 29 million pounds. But the breakdown of that deal was 25 million up front plus 4 million in add-ons. So they've lowballed massively. They really, really have. Because, as I said, Bayern are asking for 42 plus add-ons, right? And Man United have offered 25 plus add-ons. So we've offered nearly 20 million under what they actually want. And I respect that. You've got to do it. You have to do it. Nobody else is coming for De Ligt. He wants to come to Manchester United. He spoke to Ten Hag. He's agreed personal terms. Like, there's no reason for us to pay big money. There isn't. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what everybody thinks about De Ligt. I want you to let me know in the comments section, how much is he worth? Obviously, bear in mind the fact that he has had some horrible injuries over the last 5 years. As I said, missing 20 or more games every season for the last 5 years. So Christian Falk goes on to say that Manchester United's total offer was worth 35 million euros. And apparently Bayern are demanding a minimum of 50 plus add-ons. So there's still quite a big gap in valuation because Man United's bid included add-ons and it was 29 million. And Bayern want a guaranteed fee of 42 plus add-ons. Apparently they want 42 million pounds plus around 8 to 9 million pounds in add-ons. So there's a massive gap. There's 25 million pound gap as it stands at the moment. Me personally, I would absolutely max go for maybe 35 plus add-ons pounds. Anything more than that I think is a massive risk, especially with his injury record, especially with the fact that there are other options available on the market. And I know we desperately need another centre-back, but is spending £50 million on an injury-prone centre-back worth the risk? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. And I think, from my perspective, probably not. And we have to make sure that the price reflects his injuries. Because there's a reason Bayern Munich are selling him. You know, it's not like we're getting the best centre-back in the world who's never been injured for a discounted price. The only reason they want to sell him is because of his injuries, and we have to remind ourselves of that. But I'll be interested to see what everybody thinks about this. Please do let me know in the comment section. I'm going to wrap the video up here. It was just a short one to bring you guys the breaking news on Matthijs de Ligt. Please make sure to smash a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel. This has been Daily Red Devil. I'll speak to you all a bit later. Bye for now.